our first glorification this evening will be given by His Holiness Lokanath Swami.
Remember and glorify Srimati Parvati Mataji. Parvati Mataji also heard and understood from Mother Sevita Prabhupada. Mother Sevita and Parvati had joined Hare Krishna movement in Kathmandu in 1973. And later on she was there in Delhi when Prabhupada had installed other parts of the and then at some point she moved to Bombay and also got married to my godbrother Sanatana Prabhu. And then we were all grew up, we were just children and spiritual children of Srila Prabhupada. And we were children, mature in Bombay, Sanatana Parvati. So we were together. Spent many years serving and associating and growing in Srila Prabhupada's Hare Krishna land, serving the lordships Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada. Home, leaving a few brothers, and I left one sister behind. But as we had joined Srila Prabhupada's family, and we were blessed with so many brothers and sisters. Happy that Srila Parvati Mataji, like our sister, our glorious sister. I'm proud of her. A few years ago I interviewed her while I was working on a book, The Bombay's my office, and one of the outstanding thing that she mentioned was that during 77, but Srila Prabhupada was in Bombay, not well. He had come from Bhakti-yoga manor and come to Bombay, and he was sick. And then he moved on to Vrindavan, and while he was getting ready to leave for Vrindavan, devotees asking Krishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada, if you leave and devotees come to know that you are going to Vrindavan, they would all like to follow you to Vrindavan. Then Prabhupada had said, yes, let them come. I have no objection. So many of us had come over to Vrindavan, but Parvati Mataji could not manage to come. She had a lot of services to cover, and So she stayed behind. So she was, during the interview, said this, and she was lamenting that she was not able to be with Prabhupada in Vrindavan. And eventually Prabhupada departed and she wasn't there either. And she considered this as most disappointing thing in her life, that she couldn't be with Srila Prabhupada while he was in Vrindavan during his last days, and she wasn't there when he departed. But then we all know how she got to, after Srila Prabhupada had entered Samadhi, Parvati Mataji, I think she was chosen or selected to render lifetime service to Prabhupada's Samadhi, that is, service to Prabhupada. So she was not able to be there in Vrindavan during his last days, but she was compensated with all the service, all these years that she was able to render serving Prabhupada's Samadhi. And I was thinking, and she was serving Prabhupada's Samadhi on behalf of all Prabhupada's disciples and grand disciples also. And the way, the kind of dedication that she served to Prabhupada's Samadhi, I think Nasingananda Prabhu said that there were lots of glorification that went on and on in our leadership conference as part of the news reached all of us that Parvati had left, and before this we are remembering and glorifying her to their heart's content, and there are lots of posts about the memories and glories of Parvati. So what was it? I said Nasingananda said she lived the life of quote unquote work now, Samadhi later. Someone, she was very dedicated to Srila Prabhupada and his Samadhi Mandir, and absorbed in maintaining it, another leader said. She wanted to ensure Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi she wanted to ensure that Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi was given priority, and that all the funds donated to for the purpose of Samadhi should be exclusively used for service of Samadhi. She worked on this. This was her meditation. I also know that the building is across from Prabhupada Samadhi, which is part of Samadhi, but then the temple started using that as a gift shop, distributing paraphernalia, books and this and that, and I know she was not very happy. She had several talks with me about that, because she wanted that place also be exclusively used part of samadhi, in service of samadhi. Another leader had said, wonderful example for all the devotees. She always served enthusiastically. Another leader said, great soul, terrible loss. Another leader wrote, I remember her as a very devoted and kind Vaishnavi. Another leader wrote, she could often give Vrindavan management a headache, but for transcendental reasons. Another comment was, Parvati was fearless. Yeah, we know. She also was taking care of scheduling Bhagavad-Gita classes in Srila Prabhupada's room. I'm happy that she also engaged me in giving classes, Bhagavad-Gita classes, as well as she engaged me in services of samadhi in the form of financial contributions, etc. And then we should all be thanking Parvati Mataji for serving Prabhupada Samadhi, for the great service that she rendered, and she would be remembered for her dedicated service of Prabhupada Samadhi. Another devotee wrote that she must have now reached Prabhupada's lotus feet and would continue to serve Srila Prabhupada eternally in eternal samadhi. And we also know that she was a writer who produced various children books, Krishna books, that enlightened thousands of children all over the world. Bhagavad-Gita Maharaj remembered and wrote that he had visited her in the hospital, I think a couple of weeks prior to her departure. Maharaj was surprised to see her, although she was in the hospital, not well, etc. But she was very enthusiastic and jolly mood, he said. And I think that's part of it. She was always enthusiastic and jolly. Hari. So, and the way she departed on Ekadasi day or Ekadasi night, departed peacefully. Prasanna Prabhu was talking to me on the phone, and he was very, very happy the way she departed. She was by herself, and only thing, only one around her was Srila Prabhupada singing for course, not physically present, but Srila Prabhupada was present in his sound, transmitted sound, so once he was listening to Prabhupada, so he departed, so our whole life is activities, services are glorious. The ways he departed is also glorious. So greatly miss her. I know next time I come to Vrindavan, I will realize her absence, as he would be upset by her conspicuously present by not being there. It's a loss and a reason to lament that lost left us behind, but also occasion for great joy that as we are confident that she has gone to Krishna Balaram, or she has gone to certainly to continue to serve Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. So, Hari Hari, Parvati Mataji ki jai. My obeisances, sure by now she has her own transcendental eternal form. I offer my obeisances unto her or his soul's lotus feet by saying Vanchapa Putarvishya Vipasindhapevacham Padidanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Parvati Mataji ki jai.
Netam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Giriraj Swami Iti Namine Vanchakalpacharubhyascha Vipasindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. So, I met Mother Parvati. Actually, I didn't meet her, it was an accident. We were chanting outside the temple, and she came up to us and said, what are you doing here? So I said, chanting. So she said, why outside? So I said, we're not allowed inside the temple. So she said, what? She says, anyway, tomorrow morning you'll be in the temple room chanting. And I heard that throughout the day that day, she worked so hard. She went to the authorities, and of course the warrior was on her job. And next morning we were in the temple chanting around Tulsi Devi. So, and I heard that here also in Vrindavan, that we heard this morning also that she spoke to the authorities, and also Srila Prabhupada had said that the ladies should have a place in front of the deities, and at least they could stand in front of Shri Shri Radhesham. So that was my interaction with Mother Parvati, and I echo all the sentiments that everybody expressed this morning about her loyalty to Srila Prabhupada, her Guru Nishtha, her determination, her enthusiasm, and as someone just, Lokanath Maharaj mentioned, she was jolly. A devotee is always jolly. So, and the other thing also is, one day I was listening to either the radio, I was in the temple, and she said that, there's a samadhi here, and so much preaching could be done. Why is somebody not preaching on the top? She says, there's so much facility for preaching, And after that, they arranged for, as it is today now, with the devotees standing there and encouraging those who visit to come up, chant one round of Hare Krishna. And nowadays I hear even that those who are chanting there, and also those who chant in the temple, there's a little room and there's preaching done there also, that the numbers are increasing. And to come to Vrindavan and chant one round of Hare Krishna, I mean, that's the beginning of their spiritual life. So it's like mammoth preaching. It sounds little, but like His Holiness Janardhan Maharaj said, that when he was speaking, she had said that she added something. She said, no, not only what you said, but when they have some time, they should also preach. There's so many people coming here, and you just look at someone. When I was very, very sick, I saw a whole group of people, and remembering what she said, I saw a young devotee, so I told him, excuse me, Prabhu, I said, look at these people, they are so enthusiastic, they're sitting here, but they just talking sweet nothing. Can you please preach to them, because I don't have the energy actually. I'm, on my way home, I just came for darshan. And then he started speaking to them, and they were so enlivened. And I was just thinking, it's so important to associate with devotees and to actually hear, because we have to be reminded again and again. And she reminded us again that actually we have to preach, and that's what Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that Yare dekhe tare kaho Krishna upadesh, that whoever you see, you just tell them about Krishna. That is preaching. So it was simple, but actually very, very deep. So I don't have, of course she also, Radhika, she taught, Kunti Devi taught you all also, right, in Bombay. So there are some pastimes, but I'd like everybody else to have a chance to speak. But Mother Parvati always saw the opportunity how she can engage souls, and also in taking care of her children. Like we heard this morning, she told Mother Padyavali that when I am coming to Vrindavan, my children need a teacher. So just like that in Bombay, Radhika and Kamala was still small that time. But another god sister of mine had just come from Vrindavan. She had taken care of Mother Achuvigra Devi Dasi. And she had just come, so there was not really any service. So immediately she engaged her in taking care of her children, teaching them, because Kunti Devi was quite good with children. And I think you all had fun with her, Radhika. She was very... So I'd like to also pray to Mother Parvati that she gives me one drop, or bestows one drop of her mercy on me, that I can also follow in her footsteps and do whatever little I can do, and preach, like she said, even if it's to one person every day, because that was her mood. And if I can follow one thing, then I'd consider it my great fortune. Jai, Her Grace Mother Parvati Devi Dasi ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Gaur.
So our next speaker will be Parvati's dear godbrother Arjun Das. My dear Parvati, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to our Divine Master, His Srila Prabhupada. I have just heard a few days ago about your sudden departure to the spiritual abode from His Holiness Ravnath Swami. We were reflecting on your glorious life together. I was most saddened but joyful for you at the same time. Most certainly you have attained the lotus feet of our Srila Prabhupada. I am most certain of this because he was your life and soul. A glorious life in steady service to His Divine Grace, excuse me, to His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. And even sometimes in insurmountable conditions, you still served with such dedication and love. I understand that you left in Vrindavan hearing the glorious voice of Srila Prabhupada, a life in which you perfected the art of dying. Just many years of Bhagavad-Gita class service coordinated in Srila Prabhupada's room was in itself enough for you to do, to even attain the spiritual kingdom just by that service. Every night, making sure the Gita class was going on for years and years, and this was no small task. It took total faith, love, and dedication. How pleased Srila Prabhupada must be, and what to speak of Lord Krishna himself. You gave hundreds of devotees the opportunity to speak Bhagavad Gita as it is in the 18 years that she did this service. For one who speaks his message and or has it arranged that he is being spoken about is most dear to the Lord. Of this there is no doubt, and Lord Krishna speaks this very directly in his glorious Gita. Just one day after your departure, I had the pleasure of seeing your children's Krishna book being distributed right here on the streets of New York City. What a service that was in creating this Krishna's Children book. How hard you worked to get it written, published, and distributed, I remember. And you financed the whole operation. What a glorious service this also is, my dearest Parvati. How pleased our Srila Prabhupada is also of this wonderful service. You were so very loving and generous to many devotees and supported financially many projects there in Braj Dham without ever mentioning to anyone. You desired no attention and no glory. I was always impressed with your one-pointed devotion to Srila Prabhupada, and it manifested itself so very much in your world-famous Srila Prabhupada Samadhi service. You have kept the Samadhi in such amazingly good condition and involved in every tiny detail. You have kept it safe and kept a watchful eye on all its finances especially. This is a service that was done for so many years with love, devotion, honesty, and most of all, integrity. I was always so much inspired by you being on top of every detail and yelling at those that weren't. I always felt that every donation was very safe in your loving hands, and what to speak of all your fundraising efforts, just wonderfully successful. I will miss our many conversations on the streets there in Raman Reti or in your home. Never would I tire of hearing your wonderful realizations and hopes and plans, especially for Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi. What a joy feeling your love. What inspiration I would always feel in hearing you speak so eloquently and devotionally. You are a towering, beautiful, and loving devotee. Vrindavan will never be the same to me without your physical presence. In this way, I am very much lamenting and feeling your separation, even here in New York City. May we meet again in some inconceivable spiritual way. I long for that day, and thinking of this is bringing me some hope and joy. With all my heart and soul, dearest Parvati, O dear sister, Hare Krishna. All glories to your lotus feet. All glories to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, your brotherly servant, Arjun Das. So we have a wonderful glorification from our Vrindavan residents, the daughter of Vrindavaneshwari, Gauramani Dasi, and her husband, her good husband, Param Das. Okay, dear Mother Parvati, please accept my humble obeisances. How old is Gauramani? 40. So she's like second generation Prabhupada's disciples. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your divine lifetime of dedication and service. I feel so honored and grateful to have been in your association, to know you, and to have had the opportunity to serve with you. Your command, strength, and powerful personality left a legacy of high standards for us to follow. I still remember how often you would call me and encourage me to speak at Srila Prabhupada's house, as you always wanted the next generation to take up the responsibility of preaching and would push us forward, especially us ladies. I remember how goal-oriented and fixed you were in your determination to make everything beyond perfect, and at the same time, you would bring your very cute sense of humor along. I always remember ending my talks with you in laughter. You had a very sweet laugh to lighten the intensity with your kind-hearted souls. I feel so lucky to have two beautiful sisters, Radhika Priya and Kamala, and Uncle Prasanatma. You have left us with your legacy and family who will carry out your mission throughout their life. You are the pioneer of ISKCON Vrindavan and have left us with your blessings and example for us to learn, grow, and cherish what Srila Prabhupada has given us. Thank you, Mother Parvati, for everything you have taught me. I still remember how everything you did was directly connected to Srila Prabhupada. You held and maintained his Samadhi Mandir as your life and soul. You were always concerned about how to make it first class. Every detail concerned you, from the chandeliers to the pigeons and to the museum paintings. Every part of you was dedicated to serving Srila Prabhupada. The world will miss you. Vrindavan will not be the same without you. We will miss your association, and most of all, I will miss getting a phone call from you asking me to give class on the Bhagavad-Gita and to sing the Bhagavad-Gita verses in the Gita Jayanti. She would always ask Gauramani to sing one of the chapters. Please accept my humble obeisances at your divine lotus feet, your children, Param Das and Gauramani. So our next speaker will be Karbanjan Prabhu.
I met Parvati Mataji in Bombay. I was there and she used to come. I was having service in guest house and children used to come to the guest house, Radhika and Kamala. And sometimes some guests used to invite them, they used to go there. And I told Mataji, your children, they are going with somebody is not good. And she says, she's not worried about Radhika, she's worried about Kamala. They are hardly 10, 12 years that time. So still she was worried more about Kamala than Radhika. Then later on, we were having Jagannath deities in the bus. So in the bus, Jagannath deity, they thought that Jagannath will transfer to Mira Road. And she was very furious for that one. No, let Jagannath be in the bus. We don't want to give in Mira Road. She told me also, you should protest that we shouldn't give Jagannath to Mira Road. Jagannath we wanted here in the bus. Bus used to travel and bus used to come and they used to do Mangal Aarti and Juhu and everything. So she was opposing for everything, that we shouldn't allow Jagannath to go to Mira Road. But anyhow, management pacified her that instead of going here and then Jagannath will be in one place, you can go to Mira Road and take darshan and everything. So this Jagannath was then given to Mira Road. And also in Bombay also I was asking questions. So when I was asking questions, sometimes she was very much disappointed. Once I asked Giriraj Maharaj some question. She said, Karbajan, you are directly attacking the person. Mataji, I am not attacking the person, the question I am asking, but I did not mean that to this I am pointing out to someone. This is just I am asking the question. And she said, you should see what question you should ask, how you should ask. That's correct, but whatever comes in my mind, I just put that questions to the speaker so that I can get the more knowledge and more different answers from different people. Then she said, okay. Then every time I used to ask, every time she used to comment on my questions. Even here also sometimes I ask questions, she send me message, or sometimes she call me and tell me. So it's very nice that you are asking questions, very good. And then sometimes if some speaker is not there, then she will call me. Current speaker is not there, can you start Kirtan? Then I start Kirtan, then I give class. Then she will message, oh, your class was very good. Although I don't prepare anything for this one, I just give class. Then she sent me a message, your class was very good. And Prasanatma also tell me in the morning, Prabhuji, Mataji like your class very much. So sometimes this type of association was there, and she was very good with me. Whenever any problems, she used to call me. In welcome center, you change the name of the speaker or do something. So whatever association I was having with her was very good. So I pray to Lord that she will be under a lotus feet. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। पञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण। So Parvati Mataji and myself, we used to stand in front of Krishna Balram almost every day for Mangal Arti. And when the flower Arti is over, then she would take her bead bag and go to Radha Shyam Sundar. And then she will tell me, come. Then we used to go. And then she will make sure that I stand in front of her. I said, no, Mataji, you stand. She said, no, I am taller than you, so I can see from behind. She was very humble. Then one time I was making garland. This is like 8 years before. And my husband supposed to give the class, Bhagavad-Gita class. And somehow or other he couldn't make it. He was busy with something. And then she came and she said, come, you give the class. I said, Mataji, I have a service. I'm making garland. She said, no, this is also service. You come and give the class. So one time I gave class here in Bhagavad-Gita. And then after that, every time Vishakha Priya Mataji, who is Giriraj Maharaj disciple, her name is always there, for giving class. And everybody would come and ask me, you are giving class? I said, no, I am Vishakha Devidasi. She is Vishakha Priya. So she was very perfection, she has perfection. She wants to make sure that Bhagavad Gita class will go on. Even if there are few devotees, but still she wants to make sure that Bhagavad Gita will class go on. Then I still remember every year when December marathon, the Gita Jayanti, that day after the program is over, from her house, big one or two bori will come with makhana, and she will distribute, for all the devotees. So, and one time she made makhana with chaat masala, and everybody. So everybody likes that, and everybody was asking her, what did he put it? What did he put it? So that is her special recipe for makhana. Then we went to Nayati hospital, just to see her, and we thought we will be there for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, but half an hour she gave us. She was so happily talking with myself, Govinda Mataji, Paramkarna Mataji, Parikshit, and Narhal. Everybody she was asking each and every detail, and she was very blissfully, happily talking to us. So she was very dedicated, her Prabhupada service and all. And every Shobha Yatra, she will make sure that all ladies come for the Prabhupada Samadhi and do the Aarti. So this time also she sent me message that whoever the ladies, you please tell them that they should be there before 5 p.m. Every time she wants to make sure, even though she was sick. So she was very dedicated to her service. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Jaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Mother Parvati ki Jai. So I know Mother Parvati since long time because I used to come visit Vrindavan and go. But this like 8 years back, since I'm staying more in Vrindavan, so I become to know more her personality and character. And few times I had some conversation, and I met her. So I tried to gather all these meetings that I had with her. I mean, once I had met her. So I just would like to read my memories for you. It was last year in the beginning of June. I received a mail from Kusha Mataji asking me to go to her house and take back brace for Parvati Mataji. I went there and found the item and called Parvati Mataji asking if it's right time to go and give it to her. She confirmed, and I went upstairs to her room. She was lying on bed as she had very bad back pain since months back. And she tried to sit down, and I gave back brace to her. She asked me to sit down, and she told me that now she feels better and can go for her Purushottam Rat. It was Purushottam Mass. So for the whole Purushottam month, she would go to Radha Damodar temple every day at 10 a.m. with Mulchan on the bike, do the parikrama, take Srila Prabhupada's darshan, and then since she noticed that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's Pushpa Samadhi marble has become black and nobody cared for or maintained it, together with Mulchan they would scrub the marble to take out the blackness out of it. It was very hard work, and they have to do it continuously every day to get the result. I was surprised to hear that with her back pain and health condition, what she was doing. On the other hand, I admired her in my heart for her service attitude towards Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Swami. Also, I realized that she has the same love and affection for Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Swami as she has for Srila Prabhupada. And even with her condition, she tried to serve him in the same loving mood that she serves her Guru. This was very enlivening and inspiring lesson for me. She was not conditioned with her body conditions. Then she asked about my spiritual master Samadhi and his Murti. She was telling that his Murti is not looking similar to him. And I explained her that we have the same feeling, but it's done already and we can't redo it. She suggested that there is one artist and he can do a huge transformation just by little touch on face, and it will give the right impression. Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami. I found that she is very sharp, deep, caring, and perfectionist. This morning we heard so many sublime qualities of her and the type of the services that she rendered throughout her spiritual life. I would like to add that she was very down-to-earth devotee. She rendered her services without any pride, but with humility and full capacity. She would not hesitate to express her feelings and expressions whenever it was required. To some, maybe she would seem roaring lion like Lord Nrsimhadev, but for others, she was the protector. She had very soft and sweet heart, like a lotus flower. Whenever she would find barriers towards her services, she would not give up, but fight for it and remove all the impediments for the sake of serving Guru and Krishna. A fighter like Arjuna, it is very rare to find such determination and love. I admire her for all the services she did: Samadhi, child protection, supervising Bhagavad-Gita classes, organizing Gita Jayanti, writing Krishna book and Lord Chaitanya's pastime that she published recently, engaging qualified Matajis in Samadhi Kirtan service, protecting Matajis, and finally giving her life and soul for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. After she was discharged from the hospital, one day I noticed that I had a missed call from her. With that, I returned her call and she picked up the phone. She told me that the thing which she wanted to do is done now, and thanked me for returning her call. She had very soft and sweet voice that day, and it was not the voice that I usually would hear on the phone. So I thought maybe I'll just talk to her daughter Radhika. Because I heard that she is in coma, Again, I called her as I wanted to make sure whom I talked to, and she picked up the phone. Then I asked who is on the line, and she introduced herself and repeated that the work is done. I was both surprised and happy as I was hearing her voice and she is not in coma. Then I thought to call her husband and ask about her health. He told me that she is back home now and got surprised to hear that she was on the phone calling people as doctors advised her not to use the phone. I asked him that I heard she's in coma and he told me that, no, Mataji, don't hear to all these rumors. If you want to hear something about her, you contact either me or Radhika. Now I feel blessed that I had very short conversation with her and heard her sweet and soft voice prior to her departure to the spiritual world. For me, she was lovely devotee and I loved her. And today, after hearing so many wonderful pastimes of her, my love grew more for her. She is an exemplary devotee and will remain in our heart. We will miss her presence and association. All glories to Her Grace Parvati Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara. Hare Krishna.
So the next speaker, or the next glorification, is from Parvati's very dear god sister Nari Devi Dasi. Dear Parvati, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Parvati. You gave us so much inspiration in your exceptional service, attitude, and faith to Srila Prabhupada, in Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's name would be mentioned several times in every conversation with you, no matter what the conversation was about. Parvati, you are so gracious in your service attitude that you arranged for me to store my belongings in your basement so that I would not have to purchase new items for my rented room every 6 months upon returning to the Dham. You were very generous in this way, and I heard I wasn't the only one. Organizing the Gita classes and overseeing Samadhi management is no small task, which you lovingly took on as seva, even though at times causing transcendental headache. You will surely be missed by all of us, but you will live on eternally through your continuing service. Please forgive any offense I may knowingly or unknowingly may have committed, Parvati, to you or to anyone else in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Your servant Nari Devi Dasi. The next glorification is from Parvati's dear god sister Madhurya Leela, who lives in New Ramanreti, which is Alachua. Hare Krishna, dear Parvati. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I met Parvati in 1985 when I stopped in Bombay on my way back to Vrindavan from the west. Gopal Krishna Maharaj arranged for her good husband, Prasanatma, to pick me up at the airport. When he picked up my bags, he asked if I had elephants in them. I had to explain I lived in Vrindavan and was stocking up. I ran into Parvati Prabhu many times over the years on my trips to India. What I remember most about her is her dedication to serving Srila Prabhupada. Just a few months ago, we communicated about setting up a maintenance fund for the Samadhi. She was so concerned that once we were gone, all the Prabhupada disciples, that the Samadhi must not be neglected. So she wanted to set up a self-perpetuating fund that would help maintain the services and upkeep of Prabhupada's Samadhi. She was also a strong proponent of women's rights. Basically, she wanted women to be protected, cared for, and respected in our society, as Srila Prabhupada wanted. She also wanted to protect both Srila Prabhupada's sons and daughters' access to him. She was a trooper and did the needful. She was an accomplished writer and has left her legacy for the future generations in the form of the children's Krishna book, and now the children's Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. I had hoped to see her on my next visit and was shocked to hear she had left us. Shocked? Why, you might think? Every one of us has to leave sooner or later. She was so very fortunate to have dedicated her life to serving Srila Prabhupada. She made the tough decision of moving to Vrindavan from Bombay to spend the remaining years of her life in Krishna's lap under Radharani's care. When I say it like that, I guess it wasn't such a tough decision. I would like to thank her husband, Prashanatma Prabhu, for making that possible. She perfected her life by leaving her body in Vrindavan to go on to continue her service to His divine grace. All glories to Parvati and to Srila Prabhupada. Your servant, Madhurya Leela Devi Dasi. So many devotees had sent in glorifications of Parvati on the internet, so I tried to print out a few of our god sisters and brothers. Malati, who we all know, one of our GBC, she wrote something very briefly. May victory prevail for Parvati Devi Dasi, who was so very special to Srila Prabhupada and will eternally serve him. Krishna Rupa, we were bhakteens together in Vrindavan in 1974, serving together before I went to Mayapur. I never saw her after that, but kept track of all her services through God Sisters. May Krishna always be with her and bring her back to him. That must have come right before she left. Stephen Knapp, Nandana Das, he writes many, many books for our society. Mother Parvati was the only person who could order me to give Gita class when I visited Vrindavan. Whenever I go to Vrindavan, I never give class because my purpose is to simply soak up the atmosphere of Vrindavan and basically want to just be very quiet, hear classes from others. But when Parvati came along, she would give me that look and tell me, "You must give class." I had no choice, although it was a very wonderful service. So that's the only time I would, regardless of who and how many others would ask me. Vrindavan will never be the same, at least for me, without Parvati. Hare Krishna. Bhagavati Dasi, another god sister in the West, so many years serving in Vrindavan. That for me says it all. Varanasi, Devi Dasi, very old Prabhupada disciple from the 60s. All glories to your service, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to all the devotees serving in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Arundhati, another one of our god sisters, all glories to Srimati Parvati Devi Dasi and her sincere service over decades to our beloved Srila Prabhupada. May she always be at his lotus feet. Atma Shakti, another one of our god sisters, a life well lived, dedicated to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet and his mission. Krodashamani Devi Dasi, another one of our god sisters, so sad to hear of Parvati's passing, yet in some way happy because her suffering has ended, and now she will be with Srila Prabhupada eternally. I will always miss hearing you say, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Surely you are with Srila Prabhupada now. Shamlal Das, Parvati, you are a dedicated follower who will be sorely missed. I remember you in 1981 when you had your 2 little girls by your side and you were still engaging in service to Prabhupada. Very exemplary mood for all the followers of ISKCON to follow. She set a good standard of service attitude. All glories to you, Parvati. May you excel in your next destination with Srila Prabhupada. One dear friend from Bombay is Varaharupa Devi Dasi. Her is quite long, but she told us that we could highlight some areas, and we're going to give this nice file of offerings to the family so they can have it in their home. So this is from Varaharupa, who lives and serves and does a lot of service in Bombay. My dear Prasanatma Prabhu, Radhika, and Kamala, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to Sri Vrindavan Dham. This is a humble attempt to glorify such an exalted, noble soul who I was very fortunate to call a dear friend. She is like my second spiritual mentor, Siksha Guru, in ISKCON. I first met Mother Parvati in late 1974 in Mombasa, Kenya. The temple president, His Grace Chaitya Guru Prabhu, called our residence and requested if we could accommodate this lady disciple of Srila Prabhupada at our home, since the temple was very small and only brahmacharinis were staying. Parvati would join me in picking flowers, making garlands, and helping me cook for all the devotees at the temple. Especially, she wanted to take care of the brahmacharinis. Then she would encourage us all to listen to Bhagavad-Gita class in the evening. And my brother picked us up from the temple, after my brother would pick us up from the temple and bring us home. So after 2 days, she told me she was getting bored, so she asked me to take her to the vegetable market. We walked there and she would try and speak to the vegetable vendors if they could sponsor some boga for the temple and the devotees, which normally I had to translate in Gujarati. I saw her eagerness and wanting to do any kind of service all the time at the temple. Many times she cleaned the whole kitchen all by herself, or the storeroom, and every afternoon they would make incense on the terrace, all the ingredients coming from Los Angeles spiritual sky, and she was very expert in rolling the incense. After a week, she came from the temple and said she was leaving, and I said, "Well, where are you going?" She said she was going back to Nairobi since it was too quiet here. So I said, "Well, how will you go?" She said, "Well, I'll just take the local bus." And she left. After joining ISKCON, I moved to Vrindavan in 1982 from Canada, and after 2 years I came to Mumbai in 1984 for my visa extension. At that time again I met her at ISKCON Juhu. By then she was married, but she didn't recognize me. When I introduced myself to her, she was so happy and hugged me, and she said she regretted not meeting my parents while she was there, and thanked them. I was there for only 2 days, and I told her that I also want to move to Vrindavan, serving in the Gurukula. She was very happy to hear that and said I was very qualified to do that service. Later, Mother Aditya was helping me with some services. Our dear Aditya has also left us. When Parvati moved to Vrindavan with her family, she was very strict and straightforward, not manipulative, and whatever was on her mind, she would say it, even if it was some chastisement, even to me. And then she would come back and say she was sorry for being too heavy. She loved my parents very much. Vararupa's mother is Rohini, and her father's name was Vishnu. He left us. Mother Rohini has given many donations to help keep Prabhupada's house in a very nice standard. Every afternoon, she would come to our office and we would have a 1-hour session. I gradually learned, but not as fast as her, and I later gave up. I missed a line, sorry. So sorry. Oh, it was about the Samadhi services. She was trying to collect for the Samadhi, but she gave that up. And she said that that's okay. She preached to my father, and he started giving donations to her every year. And in return, she would gift them with all kinds of Srila Prabhupada paraphernalia. She gave them the golden lotus feet, the print on clay, which is now kept at ISKCON Kargar, at the lotus feet of the Srila Prabhupada Murti. She gave my father and my mother a shawl that Srila Prabhupada had personally worn. She gave bead bags, socks, neck beads, and also Radha Damodar, a portion of Prabhupada's rooms at Radha Damodar when it was renovated. So she actually showered a lot of mercy of Srila Prabhupada upon me and my family. When my father left his body, my mother told her when she came to meet her that do not worry, my father had left instruction with her to continue giving donations for Samadhi maintenance. So that's still going on. Every year I do Braj Mandala Parikrama, and after Braj Mandala Parikrama, I would go to Mother Parvati and take her blessings. She would tell me that she also has a Kartik Vrat, that she does Parikrama of Radha Damodar Temple at 5 o'clock a.m. She would arrange with Mulchan to take her on his scooty to the temple, to the Radha Damodar Temple, before all the pilgrims would come, so she could do her Parikrama and prayers peacefully and then come back. She has always been our well-wisher, an exemplary Siksha Guru, and a friend that you can always rely upon, at least for me. She used to allow me to serve her by sending all her Ayurvedic products from Mumbai. Even when she was in Udupi, she requested me to send her. I could go on, but I am sure that there are so many devotees waiting to glorify her. I am very much indebted to her for allowing me to serve her in whatever little way I could. I am sure Srila Prabhupada is waiting to take her wherever he is serving, wherever he is, so she can serve him eternally. All glories to Mother Parvati. Please keep blessing us from wherever you are. Thank you. Your ever indebted servant, Viraha Rupa Devi Dasi from Mumbai. So I'd like to ask some of the girls from the Samadhi Kirtan group, who Parvati was also very instrumental in having these girls sing every day in the Samadhi, since they weren't given that service in the temple. And individually, she would hear their problems and take care of personal needs, medical needs, and they're very much grateful to Mother Parvati, so they'll come and they'll say something. We have Damayanti and Radha Pavani and Krishodari.
We did our service under the direction Mataji Parvati. She had the Samadhi department of Srila Prabhupada and our Mataji Kirtan. She always had problems with her body. She had so many operations on different parts of her body, and she was constantly in pain and discomfort. But despite all this, she always had a smile on her lips. No matter what happened, she accepted everything as the grace of Krishna and constantly chanting the holy name. In every situation, she had her bead bag in her hands. She had to repeat japa with her left hand, since the right one did not work. As soon as she felt better, she immediately came to take darshan of Srila Prabhupada in Samadhi. She dedicated a lot of time and energy to maintaining Samadhi. She was a very open and straightforward woman. She got up to protect and help other devotees. always tried to support, cheer, inspire. She was happy for others when she saw that they were progressing in Krishna consciousness. She herself was completely immersed in the service of her spiritual master and steadily carried out his instructions. Every day she attended Mangala Arati by using internet facility, as well as Abhishekas and all other temple events. And also every day she very attentively listening to lectures on Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-Gita on the radio. She was constantly preaching to everyone to whom she spoke. Everything she said was based on the Shastras. She often quoted the words of Srila Prabhupada. Bhajans and lectures of Srila Prabhupada very constantly played in her room. Mataji Parvati was very attached to her spiritual master, and he definitely helped her at the time of her death. Hare Krishna.
And this from our all. One girl, she is very sick now, she couldn't come herself. Dear Mataji Parvati, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to serve you personally or to communicate with you. I was introduced to you only a few months ago, but my gratitude has no limits. Then, when the last hope seemed to die in me, you have mercifully saved my life. I will try to do myself very good, that you will not be upset from me. Thank you again and again. With all my respect, forever grateful, Nikunja Seva Vilastasi. Hare Krishna.
Srimati Parvati Mataji ki jai. I'm sorry, I don't know how to speak. Mostly I do kirtan.
How many years singing?
Yeah, since from 2008 I start kirtan in Prabhupada Samadhi.
9 years.
Yeah, so thank you for Parvati Mataji that by her also blessings and mercy I try to do this service somehow. And of course for me is many lessons I will learn all my life, because Mataji's association was special for us, for Kirtanias in Prabhupada Samadhi, and by Parvati Mataji's help and protection we are still there. And we have so much to learn also from Mataji. She show us perfect, for example, how to dedicate our life, our breath to Srila Prabhupada service. And I'm very happy that Krishna, he gave me opportunity to be near Parvati Mataji, to learn how to become devotee. And thank you for Parvati Mataji. She take care about us as mother. She invited many times our groups, Mataji's Kirtan, to her home, and her husband, he make prasad for us, and we did Kirtan, and it was very nice satsanga, and she make us be together with all groups, and that we will feel we are Prabhupada family. So Thank you. Parvati Mataji ki jai.
Every day, what time do you start? The ladies' prayer time?
Morning time from 10 to 1 and evening time from 5 to 7. Sometimes somebody can stay more from 7 to 9 daily also.
Every day.
Every day, yeah.
And they have a large group. How many girls in the group? How many? 15.
Total 15, and festival time more people come from different countries, join with us.
Thank you. So next we would like
Hare
to
Krishna.
invite
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Simari Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Kinami. Hare Krishna. I'm not good at speaking loud. First of all, I want to, when my spiritual master, His Holiness Vedvyas Priya Swami, heard about Mother Parvati leaving, he asked me to convey to, especially to Prasanatma and to the family, how much he feels indebted to Mother Parvati. I spoke to Dharmatma and he encouraged me to ask for a contribution, but he didn't send one. So that's as much as I can offer from him. I've been coming to the Bhagavad-Gita class for many years now. I don't know. I didn't start coming when I first came to Vrindavan, but I've been coming for maybe 10 years. And so I've had Mother Parvati's association for that time, and I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative of her determination to serve Srila Prabhupada, and I pray to her that she can share that determination with all of us so that we can be fixed in service of Srila Prabhupada. As so many devotees have said, she's very kind and she's always ready to help anybody with everything, including health needs and personal needs. And she even taught me how to do some yoga to help my legs when I had trouble with my legs. And she's I've kind of known for a long time that she was lining me up to take this service from her, but I'm very unqualified for it. But in order to continue her service, I will try and do my best to follow her mood and hope that I can do something, although I don't have the contacts with the number of devotees that she had, because I'm not here all the time to meet people. So I need everybody to help me tell who should be giving class when they should be giving class. And thank you very much, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Mother Parvati.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhuvevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Mother Parvati ki jai. I haven't made or put together a formal offering. There's just been a lot going on in my mind, remembering many things. My first interactions with Mother Parvati were here in Prabhupada's house. I was serving here from 2008 to early 2014, and the daily Bhagavad-Gita class was the time we would meet. And I distinctly remember Molchan would bring her in on the bike. She would get off right at the gate, go for a quick darshan in the temple, come back, and then she would walk inside, enter the door, and we at that time we didn't have a shoe keeper out there, so we allowed her to keep her shoes behind the door. And then we would come in, and we had a chair right here, just where Mataji is sitting, and it had to be at a particular angle. Lavanga Mataji knows also there had to be the fan, and this cushion, this asan had to be folded and kept in a particular way. And she always said she has a neck problem, or she always had some kind of problem. So she had to sit in a particular angle, and that was her spot. And I remember her sitting there every evening. She attended very rigidly the Bhagavad-Gita program. And just now, as I was standing here, I was just remembering, even prior to my serving in Prabhupada's house, was the time of when Nrsimha Devi was here. And the whole layout of this room, there's so many memories from this room, was different. Prabhupada was sitting there writing. And then I'm remembering Letter Dadu. He was another old devotee who left, and he was always sitting over there. He attended very religiously the Bhagavad Gita class, and the first Bhagavad Gita recitations were held here in Prabhupada's room before moving to the temple. So yeah, those years, every day she was here, coming, attending, and then from early 2014 I then joined the Samadhi department working under her. And that's when I really got daily doses. Phone calls, SMSs, emails, lots of discussions, lots of mercy, intense mercy. But it was just amazing working with her. I joined the department at the time. It was really a really difficult time. The museum area was being taken away from her, and it was all changing there. It was very intense that year, 2014, and she became then very determined to really protect the Samadhi and to have a whole system of taking care of it. And that since then, that has been her meditation in a really strong way. And so yeah, so many details. She was into all kinds of details, from aesthetics to the way things are managed, to the finances, to everything. I was just remembering, just a few months ago, we were waterproofing the dome of the Samadhi. And me being there, I had to be like her eyes, because she wasn't well, she wasn't coming. So everything I had to photograph, send her pictures by email, and then she wasn't good with the computer. She just got a Mac. She had to change from Windows to Mac. That was the whole thing in itself. How to download attachments, we had to speak. I had to tell her, well, do this, try this, try that. And then every detail of the Samadhi, if there's something wrong, send her a picture, and then she couldn't understand, what the picture looked like. It's just, well, take it from this angle, take it from that angle. It was constant communication. We were on the dome, right on the top at the Kailash. There were some water leaks. I remember I took photos of the cracks of where the waters were leaking, and she wanted to see everything. And then inside the dome where the water seepage was, we had to take pictures of that. And she wanted to see everything what was going on. And then we had contacted a company which was providing a very specialized kind of chemical treatment for waterproofing. And it wasn't easy dealing with them. I had to communicate with them, call them, and then I was telling her the difficulties. They weren't responding. And then, she would just get on the phone or start writing emails, and they were just responding like that, She had a Shakti to push, to push things. It was amazing. I just remembered Narendra Prabhu mentioned this morning about the cushion. He was saying, and changing the cushion was a whole episode. And recently we did it. We would do it twice a year, and she was so particular. We would change a cushion, and she's watching on the web camera. She has a darshan every day, and she calls me, says, "Listen, it's 2 inches too much this way or that way." I'm like, Mataji, you're watching on the web camera, you can't really see what's going on. Let me take a picture with the phone, I'll send it to you by email. No. It is just heavy, and then there's like 10 brahmacharis in there, gotta lift Prabhupada up, he's really heavy. Just to move it a little bit this way or that way, until it was right. I remember 2 years ago, we had the Prabhupada deity painted, we had his eyes touched up, the eyebrows, the fingernails and everything. And she was watching, she says, no, I can see, this is not correct. Get this changed. Call Ramai Pandit. He was the pujari, he arranged somebody to paint. No, remove the paint. This is not correct. That was, she was powerful. And I'm just so grateful to her for all the training. And it's really been amazing. We'll really miss you a lot. One thing that really struck me, which came up a few days ago, was actually sent to me by Devaki Nandan Prabhu from Mumbai. And this is something she wrote about forgiveness back in September 1st, 2011. And she posted this on harikrishna.com, and I just thought to read it because it's really beautiful actually. And I'll just conclude with this. Forgiveness by Parvati Devi Dasi, September 1st, 2011, Vrindavan Dham. My dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Because of technology, I simply cannot understand. I am very fortunate to be able to offer my Vaishnava pranams to so many devotees at one time. Lazy intelligence at its best. A couple days ago, I was thinking how so many of us older devotees, did I say old, are dropping like flies. And many of us should have thought of asking forgiveness from those we offended in the many years of our service, intentional or unintentional. Right before Srila Prabhupada left, he called in his sister and many of his godbrothers to apologize for what he may have said in the line of preaching, which may have upset them. We know he never offended anyone at all, because he was so careful in the way he did everything, but still, people have a way of taking things another way. So he made a point of doing this. Rupa Goswami hurt one Vaishnava completely unintentionally, yet he went out of his way to rectify the matter. And so I feel obliged to do this before it's too late. Personally, I am known internationally as a heavy person. And whenever I'm in the audience and the subject of the chapter on the wrath of Mother Parvati comes up, the speaker makes a point at directing the remarks straight to me, usually in a joking way. But the fact is that for many years, my presence has registered pretty high in the intense range. Now, even though I'm operating at 10 speed, people still give way out of habit. As we have experienced, we never know when our number is up. So before I miss my opportunity, I'm begging any and all of you, if for any reason I have hurt you or screwed up your service in some great or small way that I should know about, kindly inform me so I can personally address the issue and pray for your forgiveness or rectify the matter in some way or the other as best as I can. Better to do it in this way than to have to take birth once more and figure it out all over again. Because many will not read these forums, I request that the people at various temples to post this on their notice boards or their Facebooks, another technology I simply cannot fathom, for some time to give me a chance to reach these devotees. My husband cheerfully tells me that everyone who knows me either loves me or hates me. But no one seems to have no opinion about me. So please help me out here. I hope this meets you all well. Your servant, Parvati Devi Dasi. Parvati Mataji ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Lakshmi Moni owns a flat here in Vrindavan, and she comes quite regularly. And her and Parvati developed a very loving friendship over the decades of their service to Prabhupada. Parvati Devi, what to say? I miss you almost every day, in every way. A powerhouse of dedication, moving forward in each direction. At once it seemed, yet your goal was always steady, for any challenge always ready, to defend what Srila Prabhupada required, protecting his assets, you never tired. Parvati Devi, what can I say? Vrindavan will change 'cause you went away. But for you, it's really a new day. in Goloka Vrindavan with Sham, happily laughing in eternal time. No more worries for birth, death, or disease. Unflinching dedication and expertise. Krishna and Prabhupada could depend on you. Whatever it took you, you were willing to do. Directing your team, even from bed. You always made sure Bhagavad-Gita was read. Oh Parvati Devi, what can I say? You set an example in so many ways, with humility and valor, candid as hell. You served Srila Prabhupada, and you served him well. Prabhupada's warrior from Gokul to Goloka. If I knew Sanskrit, I'd write you a shloka. To sing of your fervor, tempered with prem. Without you, the Angrezi Mandir in Vrindavan won't be the same. Your loving God sister and eternal servant, Lakshmi Moni Devi Dasi. So we have one last offering. It's a poem from Chaitanya Nitai Devi Dasi, my eldest daughter. She sent it to Radhika and Kamala. They've known each other since they were children. My daughter was studying music here in Vrindavan back in 1999 and 2000, and she lived right behind Parvati and Radhika and Kamala, so they got to know each other. So she wrote this basically to Kamala, I think to Kamala and Radhika. Thinking of your Mata, I wrote this poem about her. I hope it brings a good smile to your hearts during this difficult time. I once knew a Mataji who was tougher than steel. She could take down anyone, for her love for the Lord was real. She was like the deputy, the sheriff that rode into town. At dawn, she was working for the big guys who lived in the temple there beyond. She lived in a town where the Braj blew around. The air was dusty, but there was a smell of roses. This wasn't any ordinary cowboy town. The cowboy who lived here lived everywhere in our hearts. All of them were in love, and all were playing their part. And yes, this Mataji was also one of those in love, and she devoted her whole life to that cowboy and what he was made of. Her tasteful sari tucked in tight. She was going to get to her service all right, and no one could get in her way. She was not going to be late for her service, and especially not today. So you see, even when she walked down the lane and everyone moved to the side, even the monkeys respected this Mataji, for she served her guru with pride. She was really like a Hare Krishna cowgirl, the tough one who rode in on horses in the town, just like in those old cowboy movies. Except this Mataji, instead of a gun, had a bead bag in her hand, and a heart so tender, and a heart that was so tender actually, and very sweet. And this Mataji's name is Parvati, and she fought for her spiritual master her entire life and attained his lotus feet. Your daughter, Chaitanya Nitai Devi Dasi.
Sorry, I did not prepare myself to speak, but somehow Parvati Mataji, she induced me today morning time. It's my great regret that I did not know that she is so sick this time, and then she is going actually to leave her body. Because like today, Mahadevi, she mentioned that she cheated death 3 times, and this is really true. Because first time, I heard that some devotee told me, oh, you know, Parvati, she is dying, she cannot recognize anyone, she cannot remember anything, you know. So this devotee from 24 Hours Kirtan, they're going to her house, and then chant mantra. So, and I was so struck. I thought, no, I don't believe this. Okay, I will go to Parvati and see myself. It was like around probably 14 years back. So I went to her house, I entered, and then see Parvati, she was sitting in the wheelchair, and then she immediately recognized me. And she said, oh, Tushi. I thought, Parvati, you know, I heard somebody told me that you are going to die. It's true? And then she said, no. I said, no, Parvati, no, you cannot die, you know. And then he was talking, she was very thin, she was very slim, or she was very weak, but she was in full consciousness, you know. And then I met her husband, and I told to him, sorry, you know, don't tell to devotee to give this like rumor that she is going to die. She's completely okay, and then I'm sure that she'll be recovered. And then after that, we heard that she went to, they arranged to go to the America, and they make the surgery in her brain, and then she came back, and then she was serving so many years. And then last year in October, again, I just came also, we were sitting after Bhagavad-Gita class with some Mataji, and then she told me, you know, there's something happened with me, and then Parvati Mataji, she wanted to help me, but now she's dying. I thought, what are you speaking about? Parvati, she's dying? No. Yes, she's dead. So I immediately ran away and found some Prabhupada disciples. I don't remember who is that. But I said, look, what's happening with Parvati? Now this girl, she told me some strange things. And then he said, no, you know, she's all right, she's okay. And like a few days back, I met Dinanath Prabhu, and then he told me, did you went to Parvati? And then I waited, so what happened with Parvati Mataji? And then he thought, she's dead. I thought, no, you know, I was thinking, this one more fake, you know. I thought, so many times I would hear about that, but she's all right, you know. And then I went to internet and I checked, and then I have seen this video. It was in her house, and it was last ride to her, and it was the next day after cremation. And I was so shocked, and I was upset, and I just like was crying. And then I was here today, so wonderful glorification in the temple. And at the end, I came to this to offer some flower and basins. And I thought, Parvati, you know, how this happened? We together helped too many different devotees, but I could not help to you. I could not do some service to you, because like my relationship with Parvati mainly was through the helping to devotee. But actually, I got her to know in 2001. We was together in one group on the Bhakti Shastri in VIC. It was first group of only Mataji, and we have wonderful group. It was such a prominent devotee was there. It's Parvati Mataji, Vrindavan Chandra. She was the director of the Gurukul. Yashoda Mataji, now she's like scholar for Bhagavad-Gita, and some other Govinda Mataji. So it's like a few Mataji, so devotee from the Bhaktivedanta Manor from London. And it was such a, and I remember at that time, you know, we become quite close, because every day during 3-4 months we was attended that course. And then she was putting ahead some question, some comments during the class. And I think after that she started this everyday Bhagavad-Gita class in the Prabhupada Samadhi. And then like Adhikeshwar said, I remember that time, you know, this Srila Prabhupada was here on that big table, and then it was, and she was sitting later on like exactly this. I was sitting, now it's somehow just, I was sitting in the same place that she used to sit on the chair, and then usually I sit behind of her, and then she always, you know, any speaker, she always gives some comments or questions, so she was really always like absorbed by the Bhagavad-Gita. And then, but I said like my relationship was usually that she used to help the devotee, and sometimes like by different way. And then like somebody told that she was like spicy, she was sometimes sweet, she was sometimes like, you know, and then from my side, she never was very heavy with me, but like one time I remember it was Krishna, this Mataji, Prabhupada's disciple, she was very sick, and then she was 1 month in hospice. I was helping her, and then Parvati Mataji started to move her to Delhi, to some private hospice, the hospital. And then she called me evening time, late evening, that she said, Tushi, can you go to this to Delhi and stay with her? And actually Thakurani Mataji, we was not so happy that she moved her to that place. And then we tried to tell her that, you know, Parvati Mataji said, no, she wants to go. And then, so we came to the Delhi, this private hospital. It was just one house, you know, and this actually, it was very expensive and was not actually used. And then I was asking, who paid for that, you know? And then Thakurani told me, you know, Parvati, she paid 50,000 rupees for, each day was 10,000 rupees. And it was very bad condition, in the room, everything was very poor. And then we said, no, it's no use for her to stay there. And we come back, and then we spoke with Parvati Mataji, and then Thakurani, finally she was agreed, so she took her out of that. And this few times like that, like, she called to me and she asked, can you go to Apollo Hospital with Samasi? So always, even I was not well myself, that I could not refuse. And then I see like she took care about everyone. And I remember like about, you know, like now we have such beautiful glorification. And then sometimes I'm thinking, you know, when the people in the present still they alive, you don't tell to them, you know, we love you, we just appreciate you, we just to give some appreciation, you know. And after they just going out, just leave out, then we just speak so many nice words about them. It's nice, but I think it's better also to tell to devotee, to appreciate our love, to express our love and appreciation still when they alive. And this has happened with Brahmananda Prabhu. You know, he used to give Bhagavad class here in this before. And then always it was so wonderful, because whenever he starts speak, and then he chants shloka and poet, and then speak about Srila Prabhupada. And then when he was banned from the temple, he was talking to Parvati Mataji, and then, because my new devotee was upset, and then she told me, you know, Srila Prabhupada, he loved Brahmananda so much, and once he told in Mumbai, even you see that Brahmananda, she is smoking, you must pay the obeisance to him, you know. And that is many times like she appreciated so many other her good brother, good sister, and then it was so nice. And then I remember, you know, like Mahadevi. I remember with Mahadevi, she came to Vrindavan, and Thakurani. So it's not so many devotees who stay full time in Vrindavan, and so we know each other. And then it's like, you know, like that time was no department of devotee care. When we started to do that, was no hospice. Like this hospice was only rented someplace. But it's so nice because we said, you know, it's like family, right? So whenever it's happening with somebody, so we try to help to each other. And I think that only by this way, this movement can go on. And then Mataji Parvati, she will do everything that to keep this movement going on, especially to preserve the memory about Srila Prabhupada, and then keep the family mood. And then when I see, and I feel very sad when I see that like many devotees, especially Prabhupada disciples, now is going away. They leave us. And the Thakurani, I met today Thakurani, and then I was so happy to see her because long time I did not see. And then she said, come and see me. And then I said, you see, I did not know what's happening with you because you shifted another place. One time I just went to Parvati Mataji, I said, where is Hakurani now? So she told me, okay, this happened with her. So she knows she keeps, a hand on her pulse, and then she knows everything about everybody. So, okay, so I'm so happy that I could do something for Parvati Mataji, and then I beg her to bless me, to do some my small stories which I can do for the world and for her. Hare Krishna.
So we would like to conclude the glorifications of Parvati now in Prabhupada's library. We thank everybody today, all the devotees who gave such nice glorifications. We learned so much actually about Prabhupada's mood, the different facets of his movement, and how we can learn from the Vaishnavas how to serve Prabhupada and our Guru, our Vrindavan Lords and the assembled devotees with more heart, with more sincerity, and follow in the footsteps of our dear Parvati Devi Dasi. And we will have to carry on some of the traditions that she started, such as the Shobha Yatra. We'll have to gather at this Samadhi every year and get the garlands together. The Bhagavad-Gita class will go on. Children's books will have to go on. So many things that we can continue on for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. Parvati Devi Dasi Ki Jai.